welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome to what could be, potentially, a huge day in the future of football. Because today, the decision has been made and the Super League have won in court against UEFA and FIFA. It is an incredible victory for the clubs. What does this mean now for football? What can we expect moving forward? What is the new Super League format? And from a financial point of view, how could the likes of Barca, Real Madrid, the founding clubs, the members of the Super League, how will they benefit? It is all coming up here today. Everything discussed. Let's do it. Because indeed, this morning, it was the day the Super League had been anxiously awaiting, because the courts would either rule for or against UEFA and FIFA's monopoly over football with regards to new competitions such as the Super League. And the decision has now been made against UEFA and FIFA, because it was ruled there that they cannot legally threaten, nor can they sue clubs who want to join another competition, as they attempted to do back in 2021. They do not have the right to do that, nor do they have the power, as that would be breaking competition law. And what all of this means right now is that the Super League can be launched. There is absolutely nothing standing in its way. The only question that remains right now is, can it get off the ground? Will clubs around Europe accept the Super League? Will it be accepted as well by the fans? Well, let's discuss that too. Because today, the CEO of A22 Sports Management, who've actually been brought in there to sponsor and assist with the creation of the Super League, Bernd Reichart, spoke out about the victory in court. He said, "We have won the right to compete. UEFA's monopoly, it has ended. Football is free, and now the clubs will no longer suffer threats and sanctions. They are free to decide their own future." He said, "For the fans, we are going to broadcast all of the Super League matches for free, and for the clubs, their income and payments in solidarity with football, with us, they are guaranteed." And when he was asked further there about what he meant about the free broadcast for fans, are we going to see Super League matches played on our screens for free? He said the current fan experience with multiple TV subscriptions is expensive and largely unsatisfactory. We want to put the fans first by providing free access to all matches and an unparalleled, cutting-edge experience. And this is the interesting part for me, guys, because honestly, I believe a lot has changed about the Super League since it was first proposed back in 2021, particularly there when it comes to UEFA and FIFA too. I think a lot has been highlighted as well in that time, because don't forget, those organisations, they were praised as the saviours of football. They'd saved the game that we love. And I think we can all see, in the time that has followed, they just haven't. In fact, what we've seen is pure greed, more greed from UEFA and FIFA. We've seen competitions change, like the Champions League, like the Club World Cup, simply with the objective of adding more games, making them, not the clubs, not the players, but them, more and more money. And they've shown no regard for player well-being. They have not consulted the clubs on any of these big decisions. And it's turned out in the end in the footballing world right now that the clubs and the players, they have no power. They are the products, the clubs. They are what make football what it is. And yet UEFA and FIFA, they control everything. They decide everything. They also decide how much of the profits to take, how much of the club's own pie to take a slice out of. How is that fair? How have we ended up in this situation here where we are being governed by these footballing bodies who have no regard at all for the game of football? And that is why the Super League here, if they can do things correctly, if they can assemble this competition in the right way, they can put the power back in the club's hands. If it can be run by the clubs, who can have a say again, who can control their own destiny, who can actually make decisions for the good of the game. And the Super League, by the way, they have listened. because they've changed the format. It looks now like a very different competition. It feels very different indeed, because the Super League will be a competition that is based on merit. You will have to earn your place in the Super League on the pitch. So all of this closed shop nonsense that we heard before, it's not happening anymore. This will be an open competition, and it's not just for the elite. It's not only going to be a handful of clubs who are accepted into this competition. There is going to be lots of teams involved. The Super League has spent a long time there speaking to 60, 80 clubs about this competition, and I think they've spent more time here understanding what the clubs want, and as well what the fans want in the game, because it's already been reported that the likes of PSV Eindhoven, Feyenoord, Benfica, Porto, certain Italian clubs, Marseille, Lyon, Red Star Belgrade and Anderlecht, these are some of the clubs already who have accepted the Super League. And we are talking here, by the way, guys, about some historic clubs in the game of football who have basically been left to rot by UEFA. And there are many, many more clubs out there like this. They need an opportunity to survive in the game. They need some hope here that they can get back to their former glory. That is not happening in today's game. There are only a certain amount of clubs here today in football that can honestly win. Everybody else has just been cast off to the side. This is something here that many clubs in Europe, they actually need. Because indeed today, the Super League have confirmed their brand new format, which will be 3 divisions, consisting there of 64 teams in total. The very top division will be the Star League, then there will be the Gold League, and finally the Blue League. And there will be, guys, promotion and relegation between each of these leagues. There will be 14 games in each Super League season per team, 7 of them at home, 7 of them away. There will be 2 phases of this competition, the league phase, and then there will be playoff in a knockout style. And as you can see right here, we are seeing what the Super League are proposing in comparison to what the new Champions League and Europa League will look like post 2024. And as you can see there, the Super League, they are showing their games for free. UEFA, they will not. Both of them are based on merit, home and away throughout the competition. That only applies there in the Super League in the future. There will be less teams involved in the Super League. And don't forget the Champions League, by the way, they're inviting some teams not based on merit. They are simply going to invite a few teams to that competition just because they choose to. Each club in the Super League will be guaranteed more matches, a minimum of 14, but both have the same match weeks. But for me, it's all about the governance. There's no doubt about that in my mind. The governance there will be the participating clubs. They decide. They are in control. They are not governed there by a governing body like UEFA. That is the standout point for me. But let's talk finances. Let's talk here from a financial point of view, because the first thing there that's important, the money is guaranteed for the clubs. They know what they're going to get. They know what's on the line, and the clubs will benefit directly with it being their competition. They won't have to rely there on UEFA allocating them some prize money, giving them a slice of their own pie. And like I say, that could go such a long way there to actually saving a number of huge clubs who are struggling right the way across European football right now. Now, of course, let's not forget as well, Barca and Real Madrid are the founding clubs of this project, and as such, they will be financially rewarded if the competition does indeed go on to be launched. Because let's be honest here, guys, we are the only clubs, Barca and Madrid, who stay true to this project, who actually believed in it from the very beginning. Without that continued belief, the continued insistence from Barca and Madrid, the project would have collapsed in 2021. So if the Super League is indeed formed with all of these clubs, with the benefits, it is only right there that Barca and Madrid, for being those founding members, are rewarded. And the rumour that may indeed turn out to be true is, if the Super League is launched, Barca and Madrid will receive €1 billion each. I mean, that is an absolutely staggering amount there. But it could indeed happen, and if that was to happen, let's be honest and say, Barca's financial problems, the problems that we are suffering and we are facing right now, much like many, many other clubs, that would go a long, long way to helping us in our situation. And right now what we are hearing is 2025. That is the date there that we're looking at for the Super League right now. We're hearing that next season in the Champions League, the reformed Champions League, that could be the last. If the Super League get their way, if they launch this correctly, if they do indeed get approval from all of the clubs they're talking to, 2025 is the year the Super League could become a reality. But what do you think? Because of course, guys, we are still receiving more and more information as time goes on here. Lots of news breaking here today, but based on what we've discussed in this video right here, what do you make of the Super League? What do you make of that new format they have proposed, the changes that they've made to their competition? Would you like to see these clubs break away from UEFA, from the monopoly they've tried to create in football? And do you feel as though this is a good or a bad thing for the game? Let me know all of the thoughts down below. I'm sure there's going to be contrasting opinions here. This is something that definitely divides opinion. But let's watch this space and let's wait and see where we go from here. I will catch all of you very soon. Thank you indeed for tuning in and for all of your support. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.